Welcome, Aquarius, to your Jupiter Direct 4 month deep dive forecast. Jupiter, the planet of hope, optimism, and expansion, has been retracing its steps in a retrograde in a very practical part of your particular scope, the sixth house, over the last 4 months, but stations direct across the 10th, 11th of March, and right through to the end of June. What does that mean for you, Aquarius? I'm going to share your event chart, but also two upcoming influences, aspects, which are really very helpful. I'm also going to widen the lens to help you understand what Jupiter in Cancer, which is exalted and said to be linked to luck, has meant for you personally since last June when it comes to work, your physical vitality, anywhere where you're trying to be conscientious and practical. If you have encountered frustrations, I'm going to illustrate why, and these may have been amplified over the last 4 months. But hope lies ahead. Please stay with me for more, and I'll give you a sharper perspective in terms of your relationships, finance, energy, or work, whether it's from the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now. Just to say, if you have got any cardinal players in your natal charts, that's Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, any degree between 13 and 27 of those planets will have felt this retrograde quite keenly. But as we go forwards, Jupiter is at 15 degrees in Cancer. As I mentioned, the sign it loves to be in. But Jupiter is all about bubbliness. It's about luck, yeah? Well, the general theme on YouTube seems to be that luck becomes positive, luck returns. Well, in fact, Jupiter also rules the sign of Pisces along with Sagittarius. And yes, it is the greater benefic in traditional astrology. But that rulership of Pisces is much more to do with the psychological, emotional, and atmospheric sphere rather than the physical sphere. But ironically for you, the sixth house is about as physical as it gets. It can be things like appointments, it can be routines, which Jupiter can buck against. But it is also things like where we need to be very obligated to others. And Jupiter may have seen you be very giving in your support to others, whether it is towards colleagues, whether it is to people in your family. If you have had an animal come into your world since last June, the chances are that's been a big success. But when Jupiter first arrived, Saturn, newly arrived in the sign of Aries at the end of May, forged an exact right angle with Jupiter on the 15th of June. And that's one of astrology's most pivotal aspects. And because Jupiter's the greater benefic and Saturn the greater malefic, it meant that whatever virtue or ideas you had to make progress by being more productive, more efficient, doing your best, have been limited, I think, perhaps by mental stress, weariness, or just overload. And the recent retrograde, the chances are you may have felt hugely frustrated if all your application hasn't been rewarded. So, how's it going to play out from here on in? Well, let's just think about your two rulers. So, Uranus is still just in the fourth house. Brief visit to Gemini last year for 4 months. It's going to be moving into your fifth house, which is very positive on the 26th of April. The reason being that Uranus is the higher octave ruler of the of Mercury, which is the ruler of the sign of Gemini. But for you, that's the fifth house of creativity and innovation, which of course Uranus likes. But if you have gone through a restless period, even since the arrival of Jupiter last year, not a complete surprise, particularly around home and family matters. But your other ruler, Saturn, has recently returned, of course, on the 14th of February back into Aries, but has been very close to Venus. Your words or your thinking may have felt quite serious towards the end of last week. And as we've come into this week, you may still not be quite sure how certain things will play out. I want you to have total confidence on what you're doing because Pluto in your sign is linking fabulously well to these guys. And some of the ideas that you have had that haven't gained currency and traction with others can do so as March goes on. It's just that the ruler of the sign of Cancer, the moon, is in a quincunx with Jupiter in the 11th house. So, as much as your friendships, the 11th house, are very important with the moon there, it's just worth considering the moon is squaring the sun. It's a quarter moon. And for you personally, that means the second 11, and therefore you've got to be realistic when it comes to finance and who you're connecting to. Not everyone's going to share your values. However, Jupiter going direct is going to meet in a brilliant sextile Venus in the middle of April. At that time, Venus will be in your home zone, but then Venus moves to join up with Jupiter in June, after Jupiter emerges from its post-retrograde shadow on the 6th of June. And that's when it gets back to 25 degrees, where the retrograde began in the 11th of November last year. And then on the 9th, Venus applies to Jupiter. Some kind of brilliant breakthrough is possible. It could be around your health. It may be around someone's generosity to you. All the giving you've done, you can get that back, but it may also be around a job. In a romantic context, it could be you're going to meet someone in a very practical and ordinary dimension. So be open to that. So to shake it all down, as Jupiter goes direct, it forges a great link to Mercury in the sector of money. If you are discussing money or a contractual matter, it can be Jupiter. Do be positive, even though Mercury's in a retrograde, as long as you're very precise on the details. There's enough thrust here, particularly with Mars and desire, and Mars is soon to apply to the North Node to get what you need. But you must be clear on your boundaries for sure, and clarity in your thinking and how you articulate your message is important. But to recap, if you have felt a little lower in vitality, there have been elements of stress or tension over the last 8 or 9 months, it really wouldn't be a surprise. You can't spin all of those plates all of the time without dropping a few. The pressure should ease now. And as time goes on, as long as you're realistic about who you can collaborate with and know that there still will be some responsibilities, it's not going to be without any obligation, Jupiter going direct, but it isn't forging that square at this new juncture. It is supported by Mercury in a very dynamic and positive way. It has been supported by the Sun. Some of the discussions you've been having recently you may not have had the reply or response on yet, but it is coming and it can work out better than you may think. It's been a pleasure being with you, Aquarius. If you've yet to watch your deep dive for March, please click on that. Venus in Aries, that video. If you'd like to learn more about Jupiter in Cancer, please click on the link and go to my website. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, pleasure. Please see the testimonials below. Like to order your horoscopes? You can do so, get 50% off. And they are great value. They are very accurate and they're totally unique for the person they're produced for. Please apply Astro 26 at the checkout. If you want to get your soul karmic version, please apply Draco 26 for the draconic. Take care, all the best, and goodbye.